Hello colleagues, myself Tapan Kumar Basantia from National Resource Center for Education, Central University of South Bihar, Gaya, Bihar. At first, I congratulate all of you for your joining in the course Latest Trends in Pedagogy and Assessment. I know that all of you are in different ways conversant with or acquainted with basics of assessment in education. Let us now discuss one latest scheme or system of evaluation, that is choice-based credit system or CBCS. This scheme or system is in the process of adoption in Indian higher education in a wider scale now. The present discussion will be first part or part 1 of our discussion on CBCS. In present discussion, we will cover 3 main points or areas relating to CBCS, that is background of introducing CBCS, context or purpose of using CBCS, and significance or merits of CBCS. In the second part of our discussion on CBCS, we will cover the topics like key terminologies of CBCS, salient features of CBCS, challenges of CBCS, and limitations of CBCS. Let us continue our discussion now. At first, we will discuss on background of introducing CBCS, or what is its background. Choice-based credit system or CBCS is a recent development in the field of educational evaluation. In this choice-based credit system, the courses of learning of a learner are measured in terms of credits. In this system, the learner is given ample freedom to choose the courses of a program as well as pace of learning of a program. Therefore, this pattern of evaluation is based on choice as well as credits. You know that the movement for national system of education in India started from 1960s, especially after formulation of the Education Commission 1964-66, what we also call Kothari Commission. The national system of education denotes a common framework or pattern of education for the whole country, that is 10 plus 2 plus 3 pattern of education. This pattern of education started to be implemented in true spirit after the formulation of National Policy on Education 1986 and the revised National Policy on Education 1992. We can say that CBCS is an evaluation system of education that can be compared with national system of education. CBCS can somewhat be called a common pattern of evaluation or a common framework of evaluation. CBCS is an effort to make our evaluation system nationalize or put the evaluation system of the country under a common umbrella of evaluation. Friends, in CBCS, credit or contact hour is the main unit of learning. At first, this CBCS or credit system was highly used in distance or open learning system in comparison to face-to-face mode of education. But in present day, face-to-face education or conventional education is also trying to use this credit-based education and evaluation in a wider scale. CBCS can be considered as a movement for quantification of learning system for its better evaluation and its other applicability. In fact, CBCS is very closely linked with the semester system of evaluation. A semester system may run with CBCS, but it is hardly possible to implement CBCS without semester system. Both semester system and CBCS are the product or force of time. Even if there may be a lot of resistance for implementation of CBCS in present system of evaluation, still we have to take this resistance as a challenge, because CBCS has a lot of added advantage in comparison to the traditional pattern of learning and evaluation, especially for present generation learners. There is a paradigm shift or movement from annual system of evaluation to semester system of evaluation. There are many universities and institutions which have already introduced semester system of evaluation. Many are in the process of introducing semester system of evaluation, and the rest are in the process of preparing ground for introducing semester pattern of evaluation. In the same way, it is expected that CBCS will bring a paradigm shift in present evaluation system. There are many universities and institutions which have already introduced CBCS, and there are some other universities and institutions which are in the process of introducing CBCS or in the process of preparing ground for introducing CBCS. At first, much initiation has been taken to introduce CBCS at the higher education institution or university level. Slowly and slowly, steps shall be taken to implement CBCS at the school level also. It is expected that in future stage evaluation system, CBCS will play a dominant role. You know that the University Grant Commission or UGC is one of the apex regulatory bodies of the higher education system of our country. UGC, along with other regulatory bodies of education like All India Council for Technical Education, Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, Indian Council of Social Science Research, etc., takes several steps for improving quality of higher education in terms of curriculum, teaching learning process and evaluation system, including implementation of CBCS in higher education institutions of the country. Introduction and implementation of CBCS in higher education institutions of the country is considered as an academic reform agenda in higher education institutions by UGC. Dear friends, let us see now contexts or purposes of using CBCS. There are many contexts or purposes for which we want to adopt CBCS in our higher education system. Let us find the important contexts or purposes of using CBCS in our education system or higher education system. CBCS is needed for maintaining equity, quality and excellence in our higher education. CBCS is a core or common pattern of evaluation or framework of evaluation along with some sorts of flexibility. Though the pattern is common, but the pattern takes into account the individual demands and requirement. This pattern follows uniform mode of grading, but so far as choice of courses as well as pace of learning is concerned, it takes into consideration the demand and interest of the learners. Uniformity along with variety is a special feature of this pattern. Hence, this leads to achieve equity in our education system. Previously, there were numerous diversities in teaching learning as well as evaluation system. Because of such diversities, it was difficult to ensure a common framework or standard or quality benchmark in teaching learning process as well as evaluation system. But CBCS as an innovation in evaluation system tries to maintain a common framework or standard in teaching learning as well as evaluation. The institutions following CBCS must have to follow the basic guidelines and principles of CBCS, and this leads to maintenance of some basic standard or quality in teaching, learning and evaluation system. CBCS tries to break the monotony of an institution in its curriculum planning, teaching learning process and evaluation process, and helps an institution to achieve certain standard or quality in teaching learning process and evaluation process. If CBCS is implemented in a true or in a right or in a proper spirit in an institution, then it leads the institution to achieve excellence in its target. It is expected that an institution can attain perfect standard or excellent standard in its teaching, learning and evaluation system if the institution meaningfully and objectively adopts CBCS. CBCS creates pathway for achieving excellent environment in an education system. CBCS is considered as an internationally acknowledged system for learning as well as evaluation. It is a fact that choice-based education and credit-based education are the need of the hour. At the global education market, both choice-based education and credit-based education have gained high popularity. Many countries of the world are nowadays adopting choice-based and credit-based education and evaluation system having different nomenclature. It is expected that in near future, the whole world education shall be tilted towards choice-based and credit-based education. For maintaining Indian higher education system as comparable with the world standards, CBCS has a major role. Many developed societies of the world like European societies, Australia, US, Japan, etc. have already adopted choice-based and credit-based education by realizing their importance. They have their own format of choice-based and credit-based education like European Credit Transfer System ECTS in European universities, National Qualification Framework in Australia, credit-based education system of US, Japan, etc. If Indian education system adopts CBCS in a right manner, then its education system shall be compared with many leading countries of the world. Referring to all these contexts and purposes, CBCS is widely accepted and appreciated in our education system. Friends, CBCS is highly popular in present education system because of its significance or merits. It has many merits or advantages. What are the advantages it has? Let us discuss one by one. Firstly, adoption of uniform pattern of evaluation is a significant merit of CBCS. Through CBCS, adoption of uniform pattern of evaluation across the institution is possible. This helps the students to move across institution without any difficulty. Further, it becomes easier for the stakeholders of education to understand the performance of the candidates or students through CBCS system, as CBCS follows a common pattern of assessment or evaluation. Secondly, quantification of learning process is an important feature of CBCS. Credit is a unit of measuring coursework or course of learning in CBCS. In CBCS, the entire coursework is converted into a number of credits, and on the basis of credits earned at different levels by a student, grading is assigned to him or her, and accordingly his or her performance is assessed. So, in CBCS system, the entire learning process is quantified through the measuring rod of credit. Thirdly, CBCS meets the global needs of evaluation in liberalization, privatization and globalization era, or what we can say LPG era, because CBCS is easily intelligible or understood at the international level. It has high implication for creating an easily understood platform for academics as well as recruitment at the international level. In the liberalization, privatization and globalization era, there is a need of migration of students, employers and employees, including the scholars, from one corner to another corner of the world. Since CBCS is quite easy to understand, so it facilitates migration of students, employers, employees and scholars at the international level. Fourthly, CBCS allows mobility of students to different institutions within and across countries. Since CBCS follows a common standard or guideline for learning as well as evaluation across institutions, so it becomes easier on the part of students to move from one institution to other institutions across the country as well as across the different parts of the world. CBCS helps for both vertical and horizontal mobility and mobility through credit transfer. CBCS allows for vertical mobility of students from one level program to another level program. For example, in many cases, it is found that for taking admission in a particular postgraduate program in a discipline, the criteria is completion of minimum number of credits in undergraduate programs in the same discipline or its allied disciplines. In the same way, CBCS allows for horizontal mobility of students from one institution to other institutions. For example, a student is free to complete some portion of courses of a program from one institution and rest portion of courses of the same program from other institution, if both the institutions have the equal type of programs with respect to nature and characteristics. For example, a student can complete 50% courses of a program, say MA English from Central University of South Bihar, and rest 50% courses in Banaras Hindu University, if there is equivalence among MA English programs of these two institutions. Credit transfer from one institution to another institution helps a lot for institutional mobility of students. Credit transfer is the means through which institutional transfer or mobility is possible. Fifthly, CBCS promotes learner-centered learning in many parameters. It is a flexible approach of learning and evaluation. It promotes learner-centered learning in terms of choice of courses, pace of learning, design of syllabus, etc. In this system, the learner has freedom to choose the courses of his or her learning from his or her discipline or from other disciplines. Further, in the system, the learner learns in his or her own pace. For example, if a learner cannot complete the required number of courses of a program in a particular semester, he or she can complete such uncompleted courses in subsequent semesters as per defined guidelines for the purpose. CBCS model follows a flexible approach of curriculum design also. In this model, except some specified core courses, in all other courses which include core courses, elective courses and skill-based courses, if any, the institutions are given freedom to design the courses as per their own requirements. This helps the educational institutions to maintain their unique flavor and character in their course design. Fifthly, adopting cafeteria approach in educational activities is highly possible through this CBCS approach. When we sit in a cafeteria, we can choose or order our dish as per our demand and requirement. In CBCS model, also a learner can choose the courses as per his or her interest and demand. In this model, a learner is free enough to choose the courses of his or her learning across the disciplines, starting from interdiscipline to intradiscipline. For example, a student of a language program can also take some courses of physics and chemistry if he or she desires so, in respect of completing the language program. Seventhly, CBCS focuses on both intradisciplinary and interdisciplinary learning at a time. In CBCS, a learner is not restricted to learn the courses or papers of his or her own discipline only. In the system, a learner can take some courses from other disciplines as per his or her liking. CBCS encourages the learner to acquire intradisciplinary and interdisciplinary knowledge and skill at a time. Eighthly, CBCS is a holistic approach to learning as well as evaluation. It aims at holistic or total or integral development of a learner. It not only provides core courses and ability enhancement courses to the learners, but also it provides elective courses to the learners. The main concern of including elective courses in a program is to help the learner to attain their diverse interest and creativity through their learning. CBCS allows a learner to choose the elective courses as per his or her requirement in order to fulfill his or her own multidimensional developmental task. Hence, it is considered as a holistic approach to learning as well as development. Further, it assesses the holistic aspect of learning and development. In this system, along with external assessment, there is sufficient scope for internal assessment touching the different dimensions of behavior. So, this evaluation system is quite comprehensive and continuous in nature. Ninthly, CBCS is a shift in focus from traditional approach of marking to grading system. The traditional approach of evaluation is either based upon marking system or grading system or both marking and grading system. Further, in traditional pattern of evaluation, there are numerous ways of marking and grading across institution, and such ways of marking and grading are not easily understood and interpreted by stakeholders of education and many other personnel, including the employers. But CBCS is a paradigm shift in evaluation system, and in this system the marks are converted into grades, and in this system the uniform grading system is followed across the institution. Therefore, this system is widely appreciated in whole educational world. At last, in the system, employer finds easy to understand the ability and aptitude of students for selecting them in different jobs, because in CBCS a common format or guideline is followed for measuring the coursework as well as assessing the performance of the learner. The common format for measuring coursework is credit, and the common format for assessing the performance is grade or grading system. So, under CBCS format, it becomes very much easier for the employer to understand the ability and aptitude of students for selecting them for different jobs. The rest part of our discussion on CBCS will be covered in our second session on CBCS. Thanks for watching this video. Bye.